Hi all, I have a fascinating master game to show you today. Sergey Karjakin playing white against British Grandmaster Michael Adams, the top rated at the moment Grandmaster Michael Adams. So d4 from Sergey, we have knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5. This looks pretty solid. Queen's Gambit decline territory now. Knight c3, and now this quite quirky looking move, a6. It's a few moves down the main moves used usually. There's 150 games in live book with a6. So let's see. C takes d5, e takes, bishop f4. That bishop is challenged. Bishop g3. Black castles, e3. And now bishop f5, which seems to neglect a bit b7. That's actually targeted. This is a very interesting point. It looks to be, a classical response in some respects. Is it too sharp? Black took on g3 and now played knight c6. So not minding queen takes b7. Bishop e2 was played. If queen takes b7, queen d6. And yes, this is dangerous to try and trap the queen. Whatever way this is sliced and diced, it seems black is okay. If knight h4, that looks tricky. But bishop c2 is strong here to try and stop queen b3, for example. If we try queen b3, this position is very nice indeed for black. So probably best not to take the pawn here. Sorry, in this position, best not to take the pawn because of queen d6. So bishop e2, queen d6. Again, too dangerous to take the pawn. Knight e7 now, knight e5. As though g4 might be on the cards actually. That stopped with h5. Rook fc1. Now knight g4. Black doesn't mind having doubled pawns here because, potentially this h-file could be handy. That's one scenario. It's kind of ignored knight a4. And now queen takes b7 might be renewed here as a threat because there's c7 as well to hit. b6. And now there is a threat of knight takes e5 here. That's parried with queen c3 supporting e5. And also looking at c7. That's protected. Knight d3. Bishop d7 hitting the knight, that's protected. Knight g6. Queen b4. Queen f6, avoiding the exchange of queens. Knight c3 looking at d5, that's protected. a4. a5, keeping things solid over there. Knight f6. Rook a2. Now queen g5, curious. You might think there's these movements of the queen. And now here, there's the energetic move c5, threatening cd. The queen is actually quite well placed to threaten c takes d here. Knight f3, queen h6, keeping on that diagonal. D takes, rook takes. It seems white has achieved something on the queen side, or rather he's isolated at least black's d pawn. b4, a takes, queen takes, but now knight e4. One of the perks of the isolated queen's pawn, it provides hooks, and here this hook provides the knight, which provides pressure on f2, which can be accentuated with h4. Bishop f1, h4, trying to undermine the pawns around white's king. Takes. Now bishop takes b5 is played here. Also interesting to consider would have been knight takes h4, but let's have a look at the game continuation. It's played now, knight takes h4. And you might think, hold on a sec, takes, f2 is protected. Isn't there the move f3? This is a tricky position. f3 wasn't played. But the idea maybe have been queen h6. And this is dangerous for white. For example, like this. If king h2, d4, and now there's a threat of mate, that's very dangerous. This position can get exceptionally dangerous. For example, like this. So yeah, it's probably a little bit dangerous to play f3. It looks as though it, should exploit the pin, but it weakens e3. Queen d4 is played. Rook c1. Queen e5. Queen d8 now, with the threat of, so that's defending the back row as well. Knight c3 to e2 might be dangerous if the rook moves off the second rank, especially. Queen f5, g6. Perhaps that's a little bit suboptimal. Maybe rook a1 just to try and relieve the pin ASAP. So queen f5, g6, queen e5, queen c8 now. Very, very tactical move. And white blunders here. So I might have given you a clue here. White actually blunders here with g3. Can you see the move that black plays in this position? And white's winning. I'll give you 5 seconds starting from now to pause the video. Yeah, Mike Adams is able to use a very powerful forcing move here. After rook takes f1, white had to resign. The rook's a loose piece. Loose pieces drop off, and they do here. Or, even worse, so this position, if the rook tries to save itself, can you see what black plays? Yep, knight d2 check. So the king wants to try and help the rook. King gets mated. Awkward. Queen c1 checkmate. Yeah, this is what could have happened if white tried to save the rook. But rook takes f1, white resigned. So a very nice game, I thought, from Mike Adams. I thought I wanted to show you this one from the UK's top player against Sergey Karjakin, who was just recently challenging, of course, Magnus Carlsen in the World Chess Championship. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.